Welcome to Al Jazeera. Somali government troops, backed by Ethiopian tanks and fighter jets, have overrun the last Union of Islamic Courts stronghold, the southern town of Kismayo.
Yes, the Somali Prime Minister is offering amnesty to those Union of Islamic Courts fighters who laid down their weapons.
Ali Mohammed Geddi has also ordered a countrywide disarmament that comes to effect on Tuesday. Al Jazeera's John Terrett reports.
For most of December, Somalia appeared to be on the brink of a long, drawn-out war. The world looked on as from what then appeared to be a position of strength in the countryside, the Union of Islamic Courts set December the 19th for any Ethiopian troops that may be in Somalia to leave or face a major attack. 5 days later, Ethiopia admitted for the first time that it did indeed have troops in Somalia. Addis Ababa said they were there acting in self-defense against the UIC. On December the 26th, government troops backed by the Ethiopians took Bahakaba from the UIC. A day later, they were in the strategically important town of Johar, previously held by the Islamists. The next day, government forces ousted the UIC from the capital, Mogadishu. Now today, January the 1st, the UIC has melted away from its last stronghold near Kismayo. The interim Somali Prime Minister offering an amnesty if the fighters lay down their weapons.
The militias are part and parcel of the future generation and leaders of this country. We wanted to demobilize them, train them, and motivate them by providing job opportunities. They need peace and a livelihood.
The Prime Minister offered no such amnesty for the leaders of the Union of Islamic Courts. John Terrett, Al Jazeera.
Bangkok is on alert for more bomb attacks. 6,000 security checkpoints and explosive sniffer dogs on the streets of the Thai capital. A series of bomb blasts killed 3 people and injured 38 as the city was preparing to celebrate the new year. Thailand's military government, which staged a coup to replace former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, says his supporters may be to blame. We'll be live to the Thai capital in a moment, but first, here's Nadeem Barber.
It was not the start to the new year that Thailand was expecting. A series of bombs across the capital Bangkok killed at least 3 people and wounded dozens more, many of them foreign tourists. Authorities say the attacks were coordinated and all triggered by digital watches. Police have set up checkpoints around the city and are patrolling public transport. Meanwhile, the government all but ruled out the involvement of Islamic separatists from the south, saying undisclosed evidence points elsewhere.
According to the findings from various intelligence units and from evidence we have gathered, this action is to do with those people who lost their political interests.
That's an indirect accusation against supporters of former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra. Last September, while Thaksin was abroad, a group of generals staged a coup, ending his 5 years in power. He's not yet been allowed to return, and now his lawyers calling the latest accusations unfair. For now, at least, the bombings don't seem to be deterring the tourists.
It hasn't altered our plans, no.
I don't think you can really let it.
No. I don't feel unsafe. Unfortunately, it's just indicative of the times that we're living in. People are going to express themselves in whatever manner.
You know, it's a bit scary, but I would not go home for it, no. I'm surprised that the world is going on, even though it happened. You wouldn't know it had even gone on.
Several foreign embassies are advising people not to travel around Bangkok. But if the bombers intended to create general panic, they seem to have failed. Nadeem Barber, Al Jazeera.
Well, Al Jazeera's Margaret Ortegas joins me now from Bangkok. Margaret, how are police investigations going so far with regard to these bombings?
Police basically have been acting quite swiftly here. In less than 24 hours, they've completely cleared up the bombing sites. Forensic experts were still combing the area this afternoon. We drove by there earlier and there was a very strong military presence, but they seem quite certain that it was definitely supporters of the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra who were behind yesterday's multiple explosions, and not, as other parties might have suggested, the Islamist separatists from the southern part of Thailand. They're saying the methods were different and that the separatist rebels in the south did not in any way, shape or form have the possible logistics or backing to conduct such an attack as that seen here yesterday evening.
You would assume that to make such an accusation there must be proof, and we're getting news now from Bangkok that senior ministers from the previous government will be questioned. What does that say?
Well, basically here, the people on the streets are just feeling like a lot of the political turmoil that is going on is happening at levels far above them. They're feeling it's not really affecting their lives on the ground, other than what you saw yesterday with the bomb attacks where there were injuries and fatalities. But they're feeling like a lot of this is happening on a sphere way above their heads, and they just want it sorted, either through the king intervening and putting a stop to it, or the parties themselves coming to some sort of agreement. But many of the people that we spoke to today felt it was infighting among political parties trying to struggle for, as analysts said earlier, the soul of Thailand, as the monarchy could possibly come to a new dawn, as it were, with the kings growing older and passing on the crown at a future date. But as it is on the streets, like I said earlier, the people just want it sorted out so that lives can get back to normal.
Well, of course, it does affect the people at all levels of society in Thailand. And we saw in Nadim's report there that tourists that are visiting the country aren't deterred too much. But having attacks like this does have a detrimental effect on the tourism economy, doesn't it?
Yes, it definitely does. People are expecting tourists to decline, especially as foreign embassies start warning their citizens from traveling to Bangkok. But as everybody knows, Bangkok is almost a top tourist destination, especially in Asia. And in the airports this morning, there was definitely the usual number of tourists who haven't changed their flights, haven't decided to cancel their holidays. And as they say, life goes on. Unfortunately, they've seen worse in other parts of the world. And Bangkok is always going to be a place they want to visit, and nothing will stop them from coming. And hopefully this will keep the spirits of the people in Thailand buoyed. If they see that the foreigners will not stay away, then they will slowly start to take back the streets as their own. Because today there were less locals on the streets than there might have been had this been another occasion.
Margaret Ortegas in Bangkok, thanks for joining us.
Reaction to Saddam Hussein's execution continues to pour in more than 48 hours after his death. Although opinion across the Arab and Muslim world remains mixed, his family say he died a martyr and a hero. His nephew and sister have been speaking to Al Jazeera.
Saddam lived as a hero and died as a martyr. He is the martyr of the Arabic and Islamic nation. He is a hero in every sense of the word. I am proud of being his sister. He used to call me the sister and mother of the martyrs. And I am proud that he died dignified. This is an honor to us.
Saddam Hussein didn't die. There are millions of Saddams out there, because the cause for which Saddam was martyred still stands. Our only consolation is that Saddam lived bravely and died as a martyr and didn't bow his head. I hope that all Iraqis will be unified and tolerant, and to realize that their only enemy is the American occupation and its Persian agents.
Joining me live from Baghdad is our Iraq correspondent Huda Abdelhamid. Huda, was it justice or revenge? What are people in Iraq saying today about the manner of Saddam's execution?
Well, all along it has been mixed reaction to his execution. We have seen this morning in the town of Samarra, in his hometown of Tikrit, and in other Sunni towns, demonstration, people swearing allegiance to Saddam Hussein. They say that really him being executed on Eid, only adds to the notion that he has sacrificed himself for the Iraqi people. On the other side, you also see Shias who are now going on with their lives. They say that he has got the punishment he has received. There is the mobile video leaked to the media yesterday, is now circulating on mobile phones here in Iraq. I am told that on some of those messages it's accompanied sometimes with a message of congratulations to the Iraqi people because Saddam Hussein, the criminal, has gone, and some other messages it has condolences messages, and just as a little example really on how split the society here is.